What's up, everybody? Let's take a look at the charts here. So, the way I'm looking at this is it looks very corrective, right? Notice how we came up, we hit the top, boom, and then we came back, equal lows, and then we sort of corrected back to the upside, right? So, the way, for example, the way this broke out versus the way this is breaking out looks totally different, doesn't it? That's because it's moving corrective. So what I can see is I see 3 down and I see 1 2 3 up, and Bitcoin actually broke. It had a new all-time high today, right? But notice it was very quiet. We broke the top. Here's the all-time high. We came up, boom boom boom. We broke the all-time high, but we did it correctively. So the way I look at it is it's like we've been saying, it's probably going to be a flat, especially the way this came up and this was flagging out. Either it could have been a 1-2, and it looked good for a 1-2, but then once we started getting this, like especially right here, I was like, I don't know. I mean, people are buying, man, sell big time. People are buying, bam, people selling, right? And then we kind of just coasted a little bit, and now it could still be a 1-2 1-2. And here's the other. Well, let me get the first one first. So this is a flat, right? So either we're going to get 1 2 3 4 5 down, and it's going to go. It could be a running flat, it could be an expanded flat, it could be a regular flat. So that's probably what we're seeing here. And that makes sense because we have 5 waves, right? Or at least 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah, that's 5 right there. So then we have what? 1 2 3 4 5. So if we have 5, then we need to correct a little bit. Notice we're consolidating like we were here. By the way, let's take a look right there for just a second and what happened over here. See, it's the same thing, guys. Same thing what happened over here. Look at this. Let's see. Actually happened a couple times. So right here, we kind of had 3. We came up 3, right? We took the top, got everybody bullish, but then we came back down, right? And then actually it was a big 3. It actually was a bigger 3. So this could have been an expanded flat, or it could have been a regular flat, but it wasn't. You see what it did? It went down, up, and then barely went down, but then it went sideways, and then it took off. So that is a very interesting running flat. So now fast forward where we are today, we could have something a little bit similar, right? We have 3 down, we have 3 up. Maybe we come down just a little tiny bit. Look, we just did right now, and then we kind of go sideways for a little while. And then we break out, right? Or maybe we have to come down a little bit further, or maybe even further, right? Figuring out if this is going to be 3, and then figuring out, or if it's going to be 5, and if it is 5, then we have to figure out, well, where's it going to go? We don't know where it's going to go until we have wave structure, right? So if this is like a 1, maybe we pull up for a 2, then we get a 3, then we get a 4, then we get a 5, and then we kind of do something like that. So that's one way to look at it, is a flat. Another way is that we have 3 down, we have 3 up, and then we have 3 back down. So boom, boom, boom. That was the correction, and it's over. And then this is a 1, this is a 2, right? And then we have like a 1 2 1 2, and then we have another 1 2 in here, and this thing's like revving up to just take off, right? So you can kind of see like an ascending triangle in a way. You know what I mean? You have a rising demand line, sort of a flat supply line. So those are the two options. Those are the two options. Now, could it be something much worse? Well, it could, but we don't have enough evidence even of the first one. For example, if this is 1, 2, 3, how could it get worse than that? Here we go. Ready? You can get 3 back up, and then you can get 5 back down, and it becomes a big 3, which gets you down. Well, let's take a look. Trend-based fib extension from the bottom here, from the top to the bottom, back to the top. I mean, a regular flat, you're looking at 87. An expanded flat, you're looking at 83 to or 84 to 85K. Right? But if it's going to be a complex flat, it could be even, we would have to measure from here to here, you know what I mean? So, or from here to here to here to get this target. So we're not even near that yet. So, but I would be careful here. I would be very careful. It looks corrective. We're still in an uptrend. I'm just not so confident yet in the small time frame, because look at this, guys. Look at this. Can you make sense of that? I mean, it's a little challenging at the moment, especially, you know, what's going on here. I mean, I guess you could say we kind of broke out a little bit and we coming down. Now we're sort of holding support. If we can hold this as support and get a clear structure, maybe we get a retrace. You know, it's just going to be, again, the small time frames. So that's it for Bitcoin. If I zoom out, yeah, see, when I zoom out, it does not look finished. It looks like you need more. It just doesn't seem like it's completely finished yet. So something like that. I mean, that's what I would like to see. That's what I would like to see. So if we zoom out, and we basically just look at the all-time highs in here, I'll put that one like right there. We have to stay above those lines. If this is going to come down and sort of back test in like a flush, like they trap traders up here, right? And then they take it down. And then all the longs, all of them that bought in here, here, they all get taken out. And then they take it. So you got to be, that's totally possible. How do we know if that's going to happen? You don't right away, but over time, you know, every couple hours, you're getting more and more data. Right? So this is the data that I can see, and so far it doesn't look finished. I mean, I do like this trend line here. That's number one. So here's what I'll say. If we break the trend line, then the flat is on. The flat is on. If we don't, meaning we need to break it and then go. So A, B, C, then go. If we don't break it, then we could just kind of curl and hit the top. And then at that point, we would probably start our correction, depending how much velocity we get out of here. So anyways, let's look at the altcoins now. Try to keep it a little bit short. I was trying to get a video out this morning, but man, just did not feel good at all. I don't know why. Stomach bug, perhaps. But let's see. Let's take a look at Theta. So Theta had a great day. I mean, not today, but it over the last couple days it did. I mean, we came from, you know, below $1.50 all the way up to almost $1.90. And now we're pulling back a little bit, so that's good. My question is, with Theta, are we starting, if we look at the Wyckoff example, are we just starting this right here, this sort of playing around, right? So you have your spring phase, right? And then you essentially grab your liquidity down here, same thing here, and then you start moving up. You pull back and then you break out, right? So then from there, right, maybe we play around like this, create maybe a little triangle or something, and then break out. Kind of like what happened right there. Now, at first, I was saying, well, we're playing around. This is our playing around. But technically, you can see the example. It's not clear cut and dry, but you can see the example. We're playing around above the line, right? We're playing around above it. So now, if you shift the line down here, right, this line, or this area is supposed to be actually higher, but that's what I'm saying. It's sort of like it's kind of like a truncated Wyckoff pattern. And crypto throws you those curveballs all the time to make you second guess yourself, because most traders are looking at, oh, it's 3, so now we're going down. But in reality, this 3 was the end of this move, right? Or this 3 was sort of the beginning of the end of this move, right? So we have 3 back down, and we had a higher low. We shot up, so now we're right there, and now we just have to play around. Ultimately, the direction is higher. So that's how I'm looking at it. All right, so if we look at the smaller time frames, it's not very helpful, but let's look. You could see this was a flat A, B, C. This also could be a flat A, B, C, right? So you're moving up, pull back, moving up, pull back. That's the whole thing. We need to see how, let's take a measurement here. So if I go from here down to there, up to here, look at that. We hit the 1414, okay? So if I do the same thing with this one, 1414 comes in at 161. So maybe that's where we're heading, right? I mean, that would make sense. It would definitely make sense given that circumstance, right? Because it does look corrective. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is it's some type of flat. You could see 3 down, you could see 1, 2, 3 up, and now it looks like we're getting 1, 2, this looks like 3, and then we should get 4 and then 5. A, B, C. So we should maybe around $1.63, or I'm sorry, $1.60, somewhere in there. Look at that. We're dumping pretty good right now. You can see we came in here, we were bottlenecking, right? And then bam. So I think the bottom is coming very soon for Theta. Worst case scenario, we have to backtest, maybe $1.50 to $1.60, somewhere in that range. If we break that, and if it keeps going, then there's something wrong. There's something a little bit wrong there. Because all I see is 3. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I'm looking for 5. So I'm waiting for this to finish, right? And so far it's finished. It's this is all corrective, just like this. So if it starts getting impulsive and it just does something like this, then okay, something's wrong. Then what I would do is I would wait for a retrace, and then probably let go of some of my trade and then figure out what it's going to do after that. So that's pretty much it for Theta. Litecoin. It looks like A, B, C. Looks like we're getting an ABC here. So, you got some support in here. Let's see if we hold it. But you got more support down at 76. So, actually about, $76 would be a good spot if it wanted a more serious correction. And I'd look at this as a wave 1. And then you'd probably get your 3 here, and then you get another 3. In order to get down there, that's a long ways down from where we're at. I don't think we're going to get there in 3. I think it would have to be a more complex 3 to get us down there. And that would be our 1 and our 2, and then we would start to go. So markets have a way of luring you in, right? And they feed you the drug of euphoria, and then they kind of like take a step back, and then you're like hunting for it. And then a lot of times it doesn't come, and you're like, oh, it'll come tomorrow. It'll go up tomorrow. It'll go up. No, it's got to correct. And sometimes the wave 2s can be longer than the wave 1s, right? So look how long that was. It could literally be between now and, it could take 2 weeks. You know what I mean? You just don't know until we actually see it, right? But that's why we go 3 by 3 by 3, wave by wave. And right now we have 3. So my question is, once this leg is finished, is it over? And how do you know if it is or not? Well, the way it comes back up. Does it come back up impulsively like this? Right? Or does it come up correctively like this? That's how you know, is the retrace, how it comes up on the retrace. Because we will get a retrace, right? We will eventually get a retrace. So anyways, render came up and made that 5th. Look at that. It's an ending diag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Look at that. That is textbook right there. Look at this. 1, flag out for a 2, big fat 3. Then you flag out for a 4. Look at that. A, B, C for a 4. And then you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a diag, an ending diag for a 5. It wasn't an extended 5th, it was just a diag. So now, looking at the render chart, it looks much more clear that we're probably starting a more serious correction, meaning something like that, which could take all the way till December. So you're looking at probably, 10 days, right? Around there, maybe. Its timing is always hard. It's always difficult to know timing. But if I just did this right here, you can argue that this whole thing was a 1, this was a 2, and this, or actually, yeah, see, I just don't have 5 though. But if this is 5, right, and then you see how we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that could be wave 1 of the 3rd, and then we get a pullback here for a wave 2, and then we go up into that wave 3, because I'm expecting much higher prices for render, for all the cryptos, simply because of the environment that we're in now, and the wave structure. But you can see, like right in here, we got some strong resistance. And just because you don't hold render or you don't care about render doesn't mean you shouldn't pay attention. Sometimes I don't hold it. Sometimes there's a lot of coins I look at that I don't hold all the time, but I need to look at the charts, because once you get a feel for what everything's saying, then you get a consensus. Like guys who just look at Bitcoin, doesn't make sense. You got to look at all the charts, because some charts give different clues about other charts and vice versa, right? So my final assessment here for render is, hopefully this is a flat, but I don't think it is, because we have 5. So what I like to see is we have 3, right? And then we have 3 here, and then we have this sort of it came up, it broke the top, which is a flat for a 3, right? You get 3 and then you get 3, so it becomes some type of running flat or regular flat, and then we go up, right? And that was a 1 and that was a 2, and now we're about to really rip for the third wave. Or this was a wave 4, so 1, 2, 3, and this is our 4, and now we're going to go up. But I don't think it's finished. I think I would like to see this come down here, and then if we can start to see like a base get formed, if we can start to see impulses, if we could start to see flags, then I'll be more comfortable with saying, yeah, we're getting ready to go. But right now it just doesn't, we're a long ways there. I mean, this is a rising wedge here, guys, and usually rising wedges come back down to support right about there. So what does that mean for XRP? Because, you know, XRP is sitting up there pretty nice. You could see Shiba, we already broke below. Shiba's a little interesting. Look at this. You got 3 down, right? And then you got 1, 2, maybe this is 1, 2, and then you come up for 3. Boom, boom, boom. And then you drop down for 5 and then go. That's kind of how I would paint the picture for Shiba, but it's so early that there's no way you could determine if that's what it would be. But that's kind of how it looks to me, because the reason why I say it needs to come up here is because it really hasn't had a retracement. You know what I mean? It just seemed like it was kind of shallow. But I guess, you know, if this is 3, I don't really have 3 up. You know what I mean? I have 3 down, but I don't really have, I guess you could say 1, 2, 3, and it was truncated, and now we're going to go down. And there's your 3, but it doesn't have that good looking feel to it, if you know what I mean. So, but yeah, we're definitely in a correction for Sheeb. I just kind of want to see it do that. So let's keep trugging along here. ICP, you can see ICP shot to the upside, right? It made a top. It came back down 50%. It came back up and it took the top, and now it's coming back down. To me, that tells me, again, it's probably a flat, a huge flat. A, B, and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we can get something like that, then I would look for more upside. But if it's not going to be to that extent, then we need proof. We need proof, and for me, proof is building accumulation ranges, right? And then that kind of gives me the idea. All right, maybe we're gearing up. So Axelar, XRP's coming up soon. All right, and I think XRP might be one of the more interesting charts, but Axelar, yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't have that look that I like. It could be a triangle, A, B, C, D, E, right? something like that. It's just too early. I think it's a little bit too early. We have 3 down, and we have 3 up, and I'm wondering if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. It looks a little bit dramatic, though. It looks a little bit big if that was going to be the case. I mean, we have a low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So unless that gets broken, I don't think it's going to break. I think it's going to come down here and then it'll start curling back up. I think it's probably done some type of triangle pattern. We'll check back on it soon enough. Near is finally breaking down after 5 waves. Clear 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 down. Maybe we get 3 back up, and then we get another 3 down. It becomes, yeah, that looks really good, because then it tells me, okay, this, what I want as a crypto investor is I want this wave to be finished. Why? So that we can finally flag out. Why do I want it to flag out? So that we can get a much bigger wave later on. And that's what it all comes down to, right? Because this whole thing right here is one wave, just like how that was one wave, like that was one wave, that's one wave, that's one wave, right? Which means I want that wave to be finished. If it goes up, 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 and it's not finished, well, then it gets me a little bit concerned, because then it makes me feel like, well, when we finally do pull back, it's going to be very vicious, right? What goes up really high comes down pretty fast. So if we take the standard protocol, right, you take a whole wave and you basically cut it in half, right, and you flag out here, and there's your 1, and here's your 2, and then let's go for a 3. That's the main idea, and that's the main idea for all of the charts, for all of them. So that's what it looked. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. I think, you know, we created our Wyckoff, right? Our Wyckoff pattern. We hit that area. We shot up, and now we're sort of playing around. We're flagging out in here. So embrace it. Embrace it, right? If you took the profit, hold the profit. Hold it. Don't spend it yet. Hold it. Not financial advice, but I would just hold my profit and just wait. Wait, because you're going to get days. You see how this says like 2%, 4%, 1%, 4%, right? There's going to come a time where this says 10%, 15%, 12%, 9%. You know what I mean? That's when you go, okay, I'm going to take the profit I had and I'm going to buy it. So let's look at XRP and try to figure out what's going on here. So XRP looks like it's about to go in its C wave, and it's like a perfect picture. Look at this: A, B, C. Doesn't it? It looks like it looks too perfect, right? So the scary part is, well, how big is going to be C? Because that's a pretty big fat wave there, and if you take the whole wave and you kind of cut it in half, that's about 75 cents, right? So this thing can drop pretty big here. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it's just a little bit of a push down to, I kind of want to stay above 90 cents. Yeah, I would say between 82 and 90 would be a good spot to hold, to stay above, right? Definitely don't want to come all the way back down here and back test before going up. That would be just brutal, because it would just take so long. I mean, it would take a long time. So hopefully that's not the case. But if we take a fib, technically, as long as we're above 71, we're golden. So that's all we got to do, is stay above 71. But I'm looking more like at 87, 97, to be honest. I don't think people, I mean, you have people who are taking profits and things like that, but I don't think you have a lot of the OGs selling. I mean, why would you sell at $1? Who cares? Right? I mean, I think most people are looking for all-time highs. Especially how long you've been flagging out here. See what I mean? The longer this takes, the more explosive it is at the end. And when we look at the entire chart, we can see this has taken a long time, very long time. This whole thing is just, this is one big giant flag. Here's your flag pole, and here's your flag. It's pretty simple. So this is the biggest base, biggest consolidation, biggest accumulation, biggest downward resistance line in crypto history. And when you break out of this thing, it's going to be massive. And we haven't even gotten there yet, right? We haven't even gotten there yet. I think we're still in the beginning of those phases. So let's take a look here. You can see we came right up to the downward resistance line right there. So it wouldn't surprise me. There we go. So now we got a little bit of a crossroads there. Somewhere right in here would be ideal, right? Or even, yeah, so somewhere right in here I think would be a good spot for buying the dip. But other than that, it's pretty standard protocol here. I totally could tell this was a B wave just by the way it came. I mean, just by the way, anytime you shoot up and you go red or green, red, green, red, and then the red breaks down, the green comes up and retraces, and then it pulls back, and then you have doji, 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 and now you're starting to break. This kind of tells you, yeah, we should be going down. So protect your capital, right? So another thing too is, what if it's a running flat? Could be a running flat, right? A, B, C, and that's all you get. And you get down here just a little bit, and then you go, right? For example, it could be a pennant. All right, so if you look at a pennant here, something like this, right? So if that's the case, we really need to hold some support coming soon. You can kind of give it a little bit more room, but not too much. So we'll know by tomorrow morning if this thing, completely breaks down. And if it does, I'm looking at a C. So let's look at the small time frames here. So the small time frames, sometimes they're actually less helpful. Because what we have here, what could be, right? Because the large time frames look like ABC. The small time frames look like rise, crash, retrace. We go down into reaccumulation, and now we're going sideways. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. And if you want to know what I mean, look no further than what this whole thing is. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. And if you need more evidence, you got one here. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. Right? So we know XRP likes to do those things. So that could very well be what is in play. Where did we go as far as the retracement? So we technically don't have a flat because we only went up 70%, right? So if we would have got up to the 786, you know, they say a flat is anything 90%, so anything around that 886. But I tend to disagree. I'm more in the camp of anything between 80% and higher is a flat. I mean, that's just how I've looked at things, but it doesn't really matter. The whole point is what comes after a flat, which is always the challenging part, which is either, you know, something like this, or something like this. It just depends how nasty it gets. So you kind of just have to watch, and you just have to wait, and you have to look, and you know, and how do you play something like that? Well, I'm gonna come up with a members video and kind of describe how I do it, but essentially it's DCA, right? So if I'm not sure if it's a running flat, maybe I might do like 10% here. And then let's say we drop down to here. Maybe I might do another, maybe I do a 20% there. Let's say we drop down here, I would do 30%. That's just an example, right? So 10% of $1 or 10% of $100, that's $10, $20, $30. I got $60 in there. Now I have $40 left. What am I going to do with the rest of the 40? I'm going to wait until I see evidence that this thing's going to go back up. For example, if I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm still not going to touch my 40. If I see an ABC, I might put 10 in there. I might do $10, right? We go and we start breaking that high, I'll put another 10. And now I got $20 left. What do I do with that? Well, I would essentially just wait until we break that. And I'll put the last 10 in there, and then boom, my $100 is in there. And it ranged from here to here to here to here to here, right? But I got an average price. So, all right, I think that'll do it. Let's look at one more chart. Filecoin. I mean, you see what happened here? It kind of looks like that's what's going on now. So let's see. Yeah, it looks like an ABC. Let's see if this thing takes a little bit of a breather here. All right. But other than that, nothing too extravagant. I mean, you could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like it needs something like that for Matic. Dogcoin. Man, Dogcoin really ripped. Or I mean, it has been ripping. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm just looking at some charts just to see if I get anything here. Yeah, look at this. A, B, C. I don't think it'll be that deep. I think for Zcash, this would be a good spot. It looks like it's going to be a running flat. I mean, that's just what it looks like to me. So, all right, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Look at XLM though. XLM looks nothing like XRP. If I put them side by side, that's interesting. Look at this. So XRP had a retrace. XLM took the top. So it looks like this was a fifth, which means this could have been truncated, but I still don't have 5. But the way it's kind of playing in here reminds me of a running flat. A, B, C, kind of like what we saw with Bitcoin just a little while ago. Right here. where are you at? So it was right here. Let me get rid of this. You see that right there? How we kind of A, B, C, and then you kind of go sideways a little bit, and then you eventually get out of there. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. All right, that'll do it for this video. I will catch you guys on the next one. Remember, not financial advice. And cheers.